Hey everybody, this is Eckert & Sons Trading, and today we have a kind of a interesting mail day slash memories and memorabilia episode. We haven't done too many memories and memorabilia stuff lately. We're trying to get back into that. I ordered something off of eBay not long ago because it's something I did not have. I have some nice autograph. I love the Cardinals of the 1940s, and I have some nice autograph photos of players back then and baseballs and such, and that you can kind of see in the background. But there was an integral player of the 1940s that I did not have an autographed photo. I do have an autographed baseball that I'll share in a minute. But I wanted to open this photo and show you what I got. So when I was in my teens, in 1992, the Cardinals were celebrating their 100th anniversary. And a huge component of the Cardinals' history was the decade of the 1940s. And in the 1940s, the Cardinals went to the World Series 4 times. They won 3 of them. They won in 1942, 44, and 46. They won in 42 against the Yankees, 44 against the St. Louis Browns. That was called the Streetcar Series, when the St. Louis Cardinals played the St. Louis Browns at the time. And the Browns went on to become known as the what, Evan?
Orioles.
They became the Orioles in the 1950s, I believe. So the Cardinals won in 1944, and then they won in 1946 against Ted Williams and the Boston Red Sox. So the Cardinals had a pretty vibrant 1940s that decade. And this guy here...
Wasn't the 1940 against the Red Sox the Enid Slaughter man?
1946, yeah. So this guy here played a pretty integral part in the history of the Cardinals baseball club. Let's see, and he is the shortstop, Marty Marion. You guys see his photo okay there? Marty Marion was the shortstop of that era. There were other shortstops at that time, but Marty was really, really, really known for his defense. The Cardinals have had 2 excellent shortstops in their history, Marty Marion and, of course, Ozzie Smith. Now, Marty was a little history on him. He was born in 1916 or 1917. I couldn't really figure it out. On one online source I saw, it said 1916, but with the Baseball Hall of Fame it said 1917. And he died in 2011, so he was either 93 or 94 years old, depending on when his actual birth date. He played with the Cardinals. He came up as a rookie in 1940, and he played through 1950 with the St. Louis Cardinals. He managed the Cardinals in 1951, and I don't think did very well. I think he came into a 3rd place finish with the Cardinals. But then he went on to be the player manager of the Browns in 1952 and 53. And he was again, the Browns is the team that he beat in 1944 during the Streetcar Series. Now, what was kind of interesting about that is in 1944, Marty Marion also won the MVP. He didn't win it necessarily for his batting and his average and everything. It was kind of mediocre, actually, but they say that he won it for his defense and his team leadership. What was kind of interesting about 1944 was the Cardinals did win the World Series that year, and it was exciting, but so much of baseball was diluted during that time because of the war, World War II, and a lot of the players were sent off to war. Marty Marion was not, however. He was not drafted. The guys behind him here, Terry Moore and Stan Musial and Enid Slaughter, all were drafted into the war. Marty was not, and it was because of a childhood injury that left one of his legs an inch shorter than the other. But despite that little injury, he was able to become a great defensive shortstop. They called him Mr. Shortstop. Some people called him Slats, I think, because he was so tall. He was about 6'2", I believe, and according to some of the things I read, he was 170 pounds. So he was tall and slender. Or 6'1". Yeah, you never know what you're going to read, right? But total, Marty had 1,448 hits, only 36 total home runs, and a batting average of .263. So he is not in the National Baseball Hall of Fame, although he was on the ballot a few years ago to be got an ant crawling on the table. kind of a later inductee, but he was not inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame. However, he was inducted in 2000 and I believe it was 14 into the Cardinals Hall of Fame, which is really a cool blessing. It's a really neat thing for the St. Louis Cardinals. They do it very well. They really honor their past and former players with the Cardinals. So he was inducted into that class in 2014 with Willie McGee, who was an awesome center fielder for the Cardinals, and Mike Shannon, who was a ball player for the Cardinals in the 60s, and also kind of a Cardinal legend as a broadcaster. Now here's a Marty Marion baseball that I received back in the 1990s. I do not know. It seems to me that it's got a little hologram or a little logo down here on the picture that shows that it's probably authentic. So I would think it is. It looks pretty close to the ball. Marty Marion had a very, very, very unique signature. That's one of the cool things I like about him, really. I mean, aside from the history, I never got to see him play, but he has one of the most unique and very large autographs, and he has that big kind of dramatic dot for his eye on
I like the line that's going to.
yeah, so he signs with a flourish, and I kind of am a fan of really cool autographs. And like I said, they celebrated these guys back in the 1990s, and you would see Marty Marion and Terry Moore and Musial and Slaughter, and I even got Whitey Kurowski here. You'd see them at different events and such. I actually never met Marty Marion, but another Marty actually got me his autograph, a guy named Marty Hendon, who was a vice president with the Cardinals back in the 1990s and later. He was for a long, long time. He was with the Cardinals, but he was very cool to me and got me this autograph because he knew I was so excited about the 1940s era. So anyway, just a little history about Marty Marion. He won the 1944 MVP again. Like I said, he won with the Cardinals in 1942, 44, and 46. And he was an 8-time All-Star. And so he was just a very, very good player, a good, solid defensive player, and probably the best shortstop the Cardinals ever had until the 1980s when Ozzie Smith came along. So today, let's celebrate Marty Marion, and I'm thankful to have a nice photo of him. Maybe I can get a new frame that kind of matches those guys back there, and they'll end up on our wall. So anyway, thank you for listening, watching, and like and subscribe.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.